Welcome, everyone. My name's Ezra Elisoff. I work here at Sealaska Heritage Institute. I'm the Education Project Coordinator for Our Ancestors' Echoes. I'd like to gently remind everyone to please silence their phones, please leave any food or drink outside of the clan house, as this is a sacred space and we would like to preserve it as long as possible. It is my great honor today to welcome everyone here to Lisa Lang's lecture, and as she told me, Ani Ka'il forgive me if I said that wrong, and today she will be presenting her lecture, Dámaan St'áang Tl'ang Kínggang, Connecting Past, Present, and Future. Sealaska Heritage Institute's Indigenizing Education for Alaska, IEA, initiative is nurturing both future and current Indigenous teachers. It offers high school internships and classroom experiences to inspire Indigenous youth to pursue teaching careers, while supporting college students with scholarships aimed at culturally grounded educator preparation. For current educators, IEA fosters a professional community of practice, offering ongoing collaboration, cultural curriculum development, and resources to deepen their implementation of Indigenous pedagogies. Through a speaker series, participants engage with Indigenous teachers who share diverse educational approaches and firsthand experience, and have the opportunity to ask questions about their efforts to indigenize education across Alaska. Next month, on July 21st, will be our next lecture by Emma Eden and Julia Samuel, titled The Boarding School Era in Alaska. Today's lecturer, Lisa Ka'il Lang, will talk about her work on Haida culture and language revitalization. Ka'il offers over 30 years of demonstrated leadership in Native organizations, federal Indian law, peacemaking, and cultural and language preservation within Alaska. Her primary focus is on the comprehensive and community-based reclamation of Haida language and ceremony. She is also the director of the XKKF Foundation. The Xaadas Kíl Kuyaas Foundation supports the revitalization of the Haida language and culture through a holistic, community-centered approach. This work responds to the legacy of forced assimilation policies and traumatic effects of such initiatives, which cause deep cultural and linguistic loss. XKKF honors the resilience of language speakers and culture holders who have carried the language forward. Today, XKKF emphasizes integration across disciplines by engaging researchers, educators, advocates, and culture bearers. Its board members reflect the diverse, holistic model. Through language classes, curriculum development, cultural activities, and community partnerships, XKKF builds a strong educational infrastructure. Concrete outcomes include the number of classes offered, resource creation, and community participation, showcasing measurable progress in language revitalization. Looking ahead, XKKF recognizes that individuals' connection to community is central to language learning. Initiatives like the Naanaa Club foster micro-community engagement, while broader efforts aim to strengthen the Haida language community. Immersion programs and the use of new technologies like AI and language tools support cultural sovereignty and identity. Ultimately, the Foundation's vision is one of social transformation led by community voice, cultural continuity, and integrational empowerment. Following the lecture, there will be an opportunity to ask questions. Once again, I'd like to ask everyone to please silence their cell phones. Please leave any food or drinks outside of the clan house. Without a further ado, please help me welcome Ka'il Juice.
Waha, hard act to follow, Ezra, and thank you for your hospitality for me. Taku kwan iskan akwan Haida Dlungia Tlagayo a uijang. Aji Tlagaya Hada la isis. Hadala is you good people. What I just said was, the people in this land, I honor you. All of you, gin wadluwan sangadagang, all you good Tlingit people, and the Kwans especially the Kwans. I pay my respects to you. I want to let you know that I'm so honored by the SHI vision towards sharing these experiences with you. This is an honor. This is a platform that I'm very honored to be holding space with you. Dámaan St'áang Tl'ang Kínggang. What that means, it's part of a Haida philosophy. When I was young, Chuck Nakong had a class for us, and he was trying to teach us. It's about walking on the edge of the knife. And it's all about balance. And the more I walked the language journey as a Haida, East Haida, a Northern Alaskan Haida, highly endangered language, highly endangered worldview, the more I thought about it, the analogy for me was, it's just like our language. The metaphor is, you must walk that line in balance, because the ease of misstepping is your imminent death. And so it's just to live in this world in a way that's brought to you with reciprocity and all of the things that you're taught. I'm older than most of you. And so today I thought, I can talk to you about connecting the past, present, and future. And I'm going to do that. The past, I don't want to stay on too long. I want to give you a couple examples, lived experiences, because you might know me in a different arena. You might know me from my profession, which is a job. We were taught to be educated. We were taught to do these things that would bring honor to our own people, to our clan, and to our communities. All of you were in some indirect way. And so I think about that, and I don't want to stay in the past, but I will give you a couple examples. The Hansinai was a dream of the village, and Xaadas Kíl Kuyaas Foundation was already in existence in Heidelberg. Kuyang and I, Ben Young and I, were blessed to be able to go to Simon Fraser University, because the XKKF, Xaadas Kíl Kuyaas, was invited into a forum. We're the only nonprofit in the United States, and it was a language cohort. And Professor Marianne Ignace, she's same Guigon, same clan, same honorable woman, invited us in. And so we went on this crazy journey together. We had no intentions of getting a master's degree in linguistics in Hadkil. No intention. We were trying to learn how to do proficiency baselines, because I'm not a teacher, but Kuyang is. So we went over there, and it turned into this. Hey, I created a master level program for the 8 different cohorts. There was language groups, Kaska, Halkamelam, Hadkil, the different groups together with pretty much the same issues. So from that came this paper. And I was able to write what I want to bring to you today. I want to bring this to you because you might know me as this really mean woman that does these things over here because that's my job. Or you might know me from living and coming into my village. My house is always open to you. It will always be open. My door is open. We cannot get to the depths of our languages until we put our feet on the land, until we reconnect and have the things, the experiences, the lived experiences. So there's some fancy words, and Ezra made me feel like, oh my gosh, he made me overwhelmed with the work we've done because it has been a lifetime journey, And many of you are on this trajectory, and I want to offer you encouragement. You're on the right track, because sometimes it doesn't always feel like you are. So We've evolved our theory and practice. We started off with children, the Hansinai, and the Xaadas Kíl Kuyaas Foundation has kept that layer. We've kept the children. Who is our vice president. You might know her as Emily Edenshaw. She's written many children's books. They're done, they're edited, they're ready to go with all the audio. We just need to publish them. And we were going to put them online on our website because it can show you the work, some of the work that we haven't forgot our babies. The Naanaa Club is the intergenerational gap. And we need to continue. Lucy Bell will be coming from Haida because her master's dissertation was tying language to medicine and ceremony. Man, that's the Xaadas Kíl Kuyaas, one of our cornerstones. So we've evolved, and now we have a fuller understanding of language revitalization. I do. We thought we made a nonprofit, and oh man, we're going to have money and everything will be good. And I can tell you that's not true, although it is good to have money, a lot of it. But it's not what drives you, the passion and the commitment. And if it is what drives you, you're in the wrong business. So we know it's inseparable from our cultural survival, healing, and sovereignty. This work is built on the recognition that learning our language is really more than just education. It really is. It's reconnection to your identity, to the land, ceremony, and each other. This intergenerational gap is everyone struggles with that. Adult learners learn differently than children. That's one thing we learned along the way. And we respect that, and we're trying to work through that. This work, it really has future, boundless, amazing potential because of its foundation. It's been a long, hard, drawn-out foundation. But I think the goal for all of us is to hear it in our everyday life. Okay, the past, the present, and the future. I'm moving away from my dissertation because if you want to read it, you can. It's long. I read it and I was like, oh, good grief, I didn't realize it was so long. But it really was your introduction to the passion that I hold for our language and the reasons why. I want to give you 2 examples. Like I said, lived experiences speak loudly. Be mindful of what yours are. My first example is my grandfather, Ed Sanderson. He was a northern Karuk from California. And my grandfather was taken from the reservation, him and his 2 siblings, and he was 5 years old. My grandfather never went home. So, yeah, ever. So if you are learning language and you have the ability, I'm sorry, because I have to think about him, because that's such a pitiful journey. And to know that is important for me, for you to know why, when I go into forums like this, that I demand things like immersion opportunities. I demand that we look through the world through a different cultural lens, one that belongs to us, because of that experience. My grandfather was a wonderful man, and what he did was, he used to tell us he was a Shasta, he was a soda pop Indian, because the only thing he knew about himself is that they used to have soda pop that had Shasta Mountain on it, and that's a sacred place to the Karuk people. And that's all he knew. So in his lifetime, he was filled with pain. That pain that I'm speaking to was usually resolved through drinking. I don't think there was the influx of drugs in those days, so it was alcohol. Alcohol is a drug. But when my brother Jakai was born, my grandfather never took another drink. My brother's the oldest grandchild. He wanted to honor us and never ever have us exposed to that, because that wasn't him. That was just a result of the trauma and the hurt. So I thought, I need to share this so that the audience, whoever's listening, whoever's here today, can experience that we're not in that anymore. That is our past. But I want to give you another example of my lived experiences. Because I can quote you everything, and there's people in this room who are really good experts on it. Many of you could tell the world about the Allotment Act. You could tell the world about ICWA. You could tell the world about relocation. You can tell the world about the federal policy. But to me, the deep, profound impacts come from the lived experiences. In 1964, my family, my mother, my sister, my brother, and my stepfather, there was an all-out effort to get people off the land and get them into the big urban cities. And what the promise was, we're going to give you a job. You're going to get trained and you're going to become a somebody, because the state of Alaska and the federal government refuses to give your village $1. That's why so many of us are hell-bent on economic development. We're just hell-bent on it. Come home, bring it home, it has to come into the village. I want you to understand that, why that mindset is with me. Well, we went to California. That's the first time I ever saw a slug, an orange poppy. What else? There was things that I never saw before in my life. I was 6 years old, and I started school there. And the irony of it was we were poor. We didn't have money. We were fishermen. But the one thing we were rich on was food. Nobody starves in the villages. You might eat a lot of fish, but you don't starve. So going there was no ocean, there was no water, there was nothing that we were used to. So I'd call it fish out of water. We were given a 101 introduction to poverty, and a narrative was created for us on who you are. And to this day, I have never, ever, ever bought into that narrative. That is not who I am. That is not who I was taught I was. And that is not who I'm going to be. Those were decisions I made at a very young age. And my mother cried every single day wanting to go home. She hated it down there. And the irony of it was we lived next to a golf course. That was so crazy, because my brother used to return golf balls for a quarter. And here we were living in the projects in Oakland, California. And I'm telling you, there's large populations of people in Chicago. There's large populations in San Francisco, Seattle, Denver, Colorado. And they are displaced people who don't have what we have, our villages, our lands, our resources. And so I mindfully tell people, you won't find that anywhere written in a book. Where would you find that? And I remember my brother wrote an essay in college, and he said his instructor told him, I'm so used to hearing about a non-Indigenous girl's cats dying that your essay overwhelmed me, because he spoke to the impact of how hard that was on us. And then getting back to our old selves. But thank God my mom, she was very radical. She was not one of the quiet ones, okay? That wasn't her. She was the one that said, I'm going home, I'm not staying here, we're not having it. And so I'm thankful to her for that. But in that two examples, I'm laying the framework, because in the present moment, in the right now, we have generations of people raised in institutions. It's hard to even think that happened in our lifetimes. And each generation brought different kinds of pains. And my mom's generation started with no language, no culture, and a deep, deep sense of shame. Anyone who could pass as white was white. That was the way you went. And my mom she should have been a Red Panther. That's what I always told her. You should have blown up buildings or something, Mom. But really, Panthers were about community. And the narrative was, we don't come from that. They don't give back. They don't share. They don't, they're not rich in the sense that of reciprocity. So for that, I'm thankful for this present moment that we're in right now. and all you beautiful babies out there that get to be benefiting from the fact that you can get an education, you own land, you can vote. Those are things that you cannot take for granted. But also be mindful of the pains and the hurts that your parents, your grandparents inherited, why you may not have got that extra hug or the love or the show of affection, because where do you learn that when you're raised in an institution? Nowhere. And that's why it was so important. I had to really rethink about how I was going to talk today, because there's so many academic ways to do it and we're all experts. And I thought, no, that's not how I'm going to present myself today. I want you to understand the drive and the importance, and that when you have passion for something, when you feel it, when you know you're on the right track, believe it and follow it and be encouraged by it. Because you weren't always given this social position. Even though this is a dark time, I will admit, and I will openly say that, that's when we do our best. That's when the transformation occurs. That's when we've had a whole bunch of nothing and people making false promises to us forever. So this is a really good time to dig down deep and to figure out how are you going to make things like me, how I'm going to make the XKKF continue to go forward based on the expertise. In the present moment, I realize a few things. I am extremely blessed. From the time I was young, I have been extremely blessed with deep friendships, with alliances, with relationship. I am so blessed because of the two women in my life, my grandmothers, my Haida grandmother and my Tsimshian grandmother. And their lesson to me was, and I want to share this with you because I want you to share it with your babies, because of my deep love for you, because of that, there's nothing that you cannot do. Nothing. There is not a thing. And when you're taught that, in combination with learning the language and the thoughts from your language, if I knew when I was little, Raven was not our creator in the Haida Nation. The Haida Nation women, supernatural beings, one being a raven, one being an eagle, were supernatural beings, and we all come from that. There isn't one of us that isn't within a lineage line of that. And so when they have roles that are disrupted, social roles that are disrupted, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid when you learn the language. Some of you are amazing. You're so amazing, but don't forget the cultural component. Don't forget the ceremony. Don't forget the things that carried our ancestors through millennia. Don't forget, because there happens to be somebody else's narrative of who we are. In the past, it was determined for us. In the present moment, right now, this is all we have. You have the power, you have the capabilities, and you hopefully have the drive that will let you say to yourself, I'm on the right path. I'm doing the right thing. And my job today is to inspire you, to encourage you. Writing a paper is beautiful. And it's really the non-Indigenous way of looking at the world. And I encourage all of you to become the doctors, to become the lawyers, the things we were promised. But don't ever let go of where you come from. It is so, so deep. And my friends, the ones I'm blessed with, the spiritual leadership that I've been acquainted with, always tell me you're on the right track, Iljuice. You're on the right track. Kimo Kia from Hawaii, from Maui. I just recently met him in a peacemaking ceremony between the Haida Nation and the Lummi Nation that was carried out on Orcas Island. And I want to tell you guys that in such a dark time, we got up that there was a ceremony And it was all done in Lummi language. They were the hosts. They were doing the work, they call it. And the young man, his name's Talon, his leader said, they're really busy this time of year doing canoe blessings, and this young man has to take the lead. And he did it. And from the beginning of the day to the end of the day to the ceremony to the final end of the evening, it was a long day. He did it in their language. And that was so inspiring to me, because my goal has never been to memorize things. It has been to recapture the spirit and to be brave enough to do the things that we were once shamed out of. And so I just want to add that little extra bit. And as I moved down, I had no idea about the time. I said, I need a time check. How are we doing, guys? I told them to signal me, but they didn't. Oh, okay, we're good. Hootla, oh yeah, it's all good. I think in the present moment right now, there's so many things, so many things that I want to say. And my journey's been long. It's like this book that has 82 chapters in it. And this is just one of them. You today are sharing one chapter of my life with me. And I'm just really, really, really hats off again to SHI for the honor of sharing this platform. We are a very under-resourced language. The people that work with us say to us, Haida, the Skidika people, the Massett people, everyone has these resources, but you don't. And I said, well, that's been our battle cry, but we've really approached things differently. And the development of the relationship within the community has taken a lot longer than I would have wanted. But I'm there, and I live there, and I'll continue to live there and continue to try innovative things and innovative ways to make it work for my community. Keep that in mind, whether you're from Ingun, whether you're from Huna, whether you're from Sitka, wherever you're from, keep that in mind. How do you bring it home? Because the promise has always been for the development of our villages. It's like an extraction has happened, and people are saying, oh, they're moving out. In my mind, with all the efforts going into all of these things, it seems like our villages would be, overpopulated. And so let's change the narrative. Let's change it. How do you make people want to have the welcoming to come back home? I've been working on it a long time, and many of you have done great projects and great works in your life. Some of them, just the dreams, they take a little longer than others. But don't get discouraged. I'm here to offer you inspiration and to watch you do your good work. It's very inspiring to see and meet the young people that are doing these things. Right now, I'm going to go look to the future. I want to shift. I'm sure I forgot 8,000 things. I know I did. But that's okay, because what I wanted to do was share a little piece of myself with you so that you can know. I wish someone was there for me to say, you're heading in the right direction. Maybe law school wasn't the right direction. Maybe these other degrees and things were not the right direction. So let's create these opportunities for immersion. Let's create these opportunities to thrive and to be ourselves 120%. That narrative is on us. We have I need to do something too, because it's like, this isn't the Ka'il Juice show. It is not. That's why I don't want to talk about me. I want to talk about the original Xaadas Kíl Kuyaas Foundation. It started 15 years ago, and it was a grassroots effort. We realized that our community was losing speakers, losing protocols, losing culture. And we had community meetings, and we got together, and I filed the paperwork for a nonprofit, and we started our journey. And when I've looked back on some of the things we've done, it's amazing. And some of the things we need to do is amazing. I'd like you to meet Dr. Wendy Todd. Wendy, I don't know who can see or how this operates because I'm in the blind light. Yeah, raise your hand, please. Wendy is our president for the Xaadas Kíl Kuyaas Foundation, and our vice president is Xaadas Kíl. You may know her as Emily Insha. Wendy is a double PhD scientist. She is STEM plus. She really is very active in all levels, and that's how I met Wendy. She came home and was working in the village trying to implement the vision that comes from these STEM programs, and we developed a relationship. Keith Klujat just graduated from the University of Alaska and Simon Fraser University. She had 2 degrees going on, and she's working on her PhD in Haida. So those are, and our treasurer is Taljat. Some of you may know her. Her name is Doreen Whitworth. She is our go-to responsible matriarch who guides us and humbles us. When we think we know everything, she humbles us. And so I'm forever grateful for her guidance in my own personal life. Duck Juice. Many of you know Duck Juice. He teaches Tlingit and Haida's lunch hour. Outer Coast, I believe. He does Outer Coast teaching. And he's going to be teaching an advanced Haida, beginning Haida Part 2. I don't know how to say it right, but anyway, he's going to be he's a language instructor, and those are my board of directors. And in that group, we had meetings in November, and we did the things that we're talking here. We have a healing framework. We recognized something was haywire. The people are not coming along with what do they call it? Lateral kindness. That it wasn't happening. And so we start recognizing it. And what we do is we have a set of decorum. And it really calls you to be a higher, better person in conduct with other people. Very Haida-based worldview. And so we do it, all of the things that we do, we understand that. Like the examples I gave you, people are dealing with some heavy duty stuff. They're not making it up. It is their lived experiences and their passed down experiences. But you all have an opportunity. Our great-grandparents never thought we would be doctors. They never thought we would be lawyers or the people who ran our own businesses or all these things. So please be boundless in your dreams. Please think bigger, because I am so fortunate to work on a board. I work for them. And they allow boundlessness. And with that attitude and that healing that we're all working on, because believe me, we all need work, it's a much better approach. It's real, and it has to be called out, because nobody wants to question protocol or ceremony. And then we have these wonderful young people learning the language. Well, we need to learn to embrace them. We need to have our clans step up. And that's really a touchy, as many of you know, a touchy walk on the edge of the knife. But we have to do it. We are obligated, especially in the Haida Nation that follows a hereditary type of chieftainship or house heads. We need to incorporate that in order to get there. We have our own view of the world. Ours is based through Haida law. Haida law is based in the potlatch. That's our law. That's not our religion. That's our law. And your social standing and how you conduct yourself. I am being watched very carefully. Every word I say, every movement I make, And I'm glad, because it keeps me walking on the straight line so that I can set an example of how to be kinder, how to be more inclusive, how to get away from the hurts that have stopped us. And it's time now. It's your generation's time to let go of that. I know I'm an expert on, and I'm not proud of that. We're real experts on keeping into the past. Don't bite the hook. Don't go back. Let's keep going forward and with momentum, because what we've built is beautiful and it's getting challenged. So this is the time you stand tall. This is the time. Not when things are all great. It's when things go to complete hell that you have to stand tall. Okay. I didn't even ask questions. This is what we are trying to do in a statement. Our broader goal is to repair and strengthen community, identity, cultural continued, I can't even say the words, collective resilience. These are some of the things that we offer. We're really, really proud. It's a hallmark of the Xaadas Kíl Kuyaas. And we have eked by because people will show up to teach no matter what. Dollar or not, they show up to teach. I honor Ryan Kessler, a young man that offers his genius to the Haida Nation. I honor him. Morris, the young man that does AI. Wendy Haka, her expertise is lent to these ideas that we're drafting. So we offer these classes, and right now Sunday was the last day. Had a series, a 6-month series of, you could call in. It's Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 11, and you read. And if you're a nana or an auntie or whatever, you can just call in. It's 1 hour. It's fun. She's made it real lively, and you learn how, and you can hear how to practice. You don't have to be scared. We even have children in there that join in. People from all over the place, but she's pulled the audience together. I told her, you're getting a PhD, you have to learn how to teach classes. So she did, and it's really good. And I believe we'll be starting up. I have to give her a break. She's over in Canada right now with her sweetheart, but maybe August, but we have to get it together, because the second thing we're offering is an immersion opportunity. We've had grammar classes because transcription, I heard, is a big issue, and we're working on that. We know it's a weak area that we have to work on, and so that's really important to us, that we offer free classes and that we have an opportunity, because we hear it's such a hard language to learn. And I say, how do you know? I don't see you signed up for the classes, or I don't see you making this effort that I see from some of our young people to go back to school and get educated. Second part of our implementation, and a real downfall when I studied the Maori and the Hawaiians, was the intergenerational transmission. Who do these babies go home to speak to? Who are they supposed to talk to? So we started creating little activities just to pull in the grandmas and the aunties. And the last one we did was a cedar weaving opportunity, but you came in and you had to take a child. It didn't matter if it was your grandchild, but you had to work with the child. And they made little cedar squares, and then we took their pictures and we made it into something that they could have for a memory of working together. And hopefully, as we move along, and we are going to, we'll have more language infusion, because you don't want to scare the nanas away. They're the powerhouses in Heidelberg. So, and anyone's welcome to come. We have opened that door. Anybody can come, but you might get put to work. So, the workshops and events that integrate ceremony and community healing is something that is really delicate, because we have integrated some of this for my Guaigan, the Yaklanas. We have integrated and used it and practiced it in memorials, in ceremony. And It's beautiful and it's very powerful. And it's something that I would really encourage other people to examine. It's very protected, but we have ways to work around that. We have ways to make it real and make it authentic. And don't be afraid. I tell people, you can't pretend. A lot was taken from us, a lot. And we have to be bold enough and brave enough to admit that. When you hear someone saying they're the expert, they're full of it. Because this is a lifetime journey, and it's going to require you to focus and to stay focused. Let's see. Our classes are getting increasing. It's been good. And like I said, that narrative, let's shift the narrative. When they talk about revitalization, go deeper. Find out what the etymology, what the worldview is, coming not from English, but from your language. And there comes the reconnection to things like your law. And I want to say, language is your sovereignty. I always say that. Language is your sovereignty. And when people talk around about governments and their sovereignty, that's just a construct that was made for us. And so our journey is reconnecting. Been out to Haida, and the Council of the Haida Nation has given us support in the form of letters to say, come in, and we did. We went into their language house in Skadans, and I have never felt that kind of love for so long. They are so happy when somebody wants to come in and learn the language. Up in Masset, we got a letter of support from them as well for what we're doing, because we want to really genuinely work together. And Hadkil Nai, JJ is up there doing amazing things. They're going to open their doors, I believe, in September for a year-long program of learning. And I know of 2 Alaskans already that are going to participate. So how do we work together, and how do we make this journey less siloed and less lonely? Because I know my dearest friend, Skil Jade from Ketchikan, it's a lonely journey, when you're the only one teaching these things. So our job was always to have a collective. I do want to say, I'm going to do a shout out to SHI, because they're going to have a language forum August 4th, 5th, and 6th. And the Haidas have some plans to get together and address some of these things. And the presentations will include Kaskatlia, you're giving a talk, right? And it's going to be on the ethics of AI and our ethics and our practices. And Nathan Bennett has been collaborating with us, not only as an expert in his area, but also as a young person who wants to come home and put his feet on the land. He wants to know that that creek over there was named after his great-grandfather. He wants to feel it. Erica Swanson, she has family. She's related to Johnny Bennett as well. I don't know why. I met both of them within a week. And so pay attention to those blessings, and let's keep them all together in this long, crazy journey. And language is where memory lives, correct? The land holds the memory of our language, as does the water. So let's go out there and give our land and give our water and give ourselves some new memories for the land to hold, for when our great-grandchildren come home, they can have those memories that we leave for them and set that example so that they know what is right, and it requires this really heavy discussion. And I think because of the trauma, because of the history, the indoctrination, we tend and we shy away from having those difficult discussions. Well, guess what? It's time to change that narrative. It is time. So I'm going to encourage you to be a rebel. I'm going to encourage you to be the one who does not sit at the back of the class. You be the one that sits up front, and you be my little shining star, because it's taken a lot of courage. There's many people in this room that have those lived experiences. They're still here, and they're still fighting for you, and they're still doing the best. So take the lead to speak our language. I was telling John Lawrence, this is my sister's uncle, I said, I'm going to teach you one word of Haida before this whole thing starts. And he said, okay. He's so nice. I said, Haigwa, because I'm asking you, are you ready? And you can answer with the same question. Haigwa, yeah, it means you're ready. So he was supposed to be in here, and I was going to tease him, but he didn't come in. Probably that's why. Each of us has a contribution. Support the learners. Listen to a speaker, create that space for Haida language and our values, our worldview. This work asks us some questions. What will it take for Haida to live in every home? The same questions asked of the Tlingadagang, the same questions asked of all our indigenous people. What's gonna take on every shoreline? It has to be on the land. It has to be in every breath of our future. What's it take? So with that, these are supposed to be engaging opportunities. And I had to think this out 10,000 times. This went through my head because I've been really crazy busy, like most of you. And so I honor you for sitting through this presentation. And whoever's out there watching, if you have a question, if you have a concern, I really do want to know if you could share with me from your language learning journey, and I'll give you an example, something you learned about your language that changed the way you think. And my example, which I learned was very transformational for me, because I wrestled with the indoctrination of self, was when I found out in the Haida language, in Hadkil, there's no word for forgiveness. And I said, I knew it. I said, because I never had that concept in my head, because I didn't believe it. What it is there's a concept that's more analogous to the Hawaiian people. It's the concept of untangling yourself and letting go. That made sense to me, and it really transformed the way that I thought about things. And so I'm going to put it on you now. Some of you, a lot of you are language learners. So I want to hear from you, because I talked enough already. Quit talking is what I said. So I want to hear from you. Be brave. Pull up your brave pants and share with me, because these are only as good as we exchange. We know what we want you to believe and all these things, but it's only as good as what you allow yourself to exchange with me. So raise your hand and is there a microphone, Ezra? Okay, I want you to start. See, I'm real bossy too. That's a hallmark of us. What's your example, Ezra? You can come up here. Can I have a time check too? I'm really sorry. I'm like, ooh, okay, right on the mark. Okay.
Hello. The example that I was told a long time ago.
Come here. You just gotta listen. Yeah.
The example I was told was the difference between tuwu and tubu, and one refers to your heart, spirit, and soul, and the other refers to your mind.
That's what you call a good nephew. When they get up and do what you ask them to do. No, I want to see if we have any more good relatives in the room. And don't be shy. Come on. Just tell your name too, please. Ngistu anas ijong.
Kisheo Dyu. My name is Kisheo. I'm a little worried because I'm really hungry and I don't want the microphone to pick up my stomach. But a good example that I really think changed the way that I think about, I'm beginning to learn Samalgich, the Tsimshian language, and there isn't a word for you're welcome or a good translation for the word you're welcome in the language. And that was very transformative to me because it's a representation of that value of it's expected that you're going to help your fellow human being. That's part of being human, is supporting those around you, and helping them is building yourself up. And not in Western culture, it's very much like I'm giving a piece of me for you. I don't have to, but you're welcome, here, take it. But in Tsimshian culture, it's more of I am a human being with you, and I will support you as a fellow human being. And that's my little lesson.
Another good nephew. My dad is from Metlakatla. Yeah, so I wish yeah, thank you for sharing that. Is there anybody else? Last chance. I joke. Or I'll say $10 di kasta. That's my side. If you know me, that's my side hustle.
To give a Haida example, Nang Xaadas Kíl, the woman is the boss. So often our teachers and leaders are women who devote their whole lives to language learning. So thank you so much for everything you do.
I paid her $10 to say that. Anyone else? This is your moment to engage and to share. So be brave. Don't be the one who sits in the back with your mouth closed. Oh. Hi, babe. Hello. Hi, beautiful girl.
Hi. Good to see you again. Nice to see you. Aplugon toyek shitnusam amukshanu noon. So I'm hello, that moves. I'm very happy to have been here to listen to you. Of course, you just set my heart on fire. But in Shamalga, of course, I just said I'm very, very fortunate and happy to listen to you. Samtilta Hanaa Diwayu, my name is Guardwoman. And the one that I was thinking of is that we have no word for goodbye. We just wish you we wish you the best health, we wish you the best future, because it's implied that we will see you again, whether it's in the physical form or in the supernatural form. We will connect again.
Best girl ever. You're on my good auntie list for life. I didn't pay her a dime. Her mother is another superstar who I have the honor of knowing. And look what she made. Holy smokes. Okay, is there a time check? 12:54. Ooh, I got 6 minutes. So any more questions? Any questions? I'm sure you burned up. Is this your lunch hour? Poor. You better go get something to eat. Oh, makes me sad. I don't know if I'd be willing to give my lunch up. I joke. But anyway, thank you all very much. There is a collective of Native women like myself and like-minded. And I think they are the ones who have carried us forward. When I come in, they're standing on my shoulders. And I feel their power. And I'm never afraid and I'm never lonely. I'm very strong. And I want to share that with you because if you're ever in a spot where you call yourself out, your Nana is riding on your shoulders, your great-grandmother, your Chanaha, your uncles, the people that traditionally have always brought you this power. And before I need to close, and the hardest part for me is to forget to say to somebody, because that's a real Haida thing. It's a real Haida thing not to forget. So I just have to say Ginwadluan to all the people, to all of you, the teachers. There's so many people to thank in this journey, specifically for this paper. I have to thank Dr. Marianne Ignace Majada and Richard Peterson. When I was giving this dissertation, it was in Vancouver in Simon Fraser University, and my mother passed. And my mom was buried traditionally by the Lummi Nation. All praise to the Lummi Nation. But they bury you within 4 days. And so you have to be there. And I will never, till the day I die, forget Richard's efforts in getting me down away from that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to associate this paper with sadness. So I associate it again with the great many blessings that I've had in my life. AJ Grant, she's one of our funders who believed in us, who gives without discretion. She gives to us because she believes in our mission. Those are the kind of people we need to seek out so that we can be full throttle into our journey. I'm trying to think, Sean, from Life Comes From It, there's just people that are amazing. And thank you all, but I want to also say, Haida's always had their side hustle, always. That's just part of us being trading people. And so I have to say that when I think about the Xaadas Kíl Kuyaas Foundation and our future, we're going to have our first gala 6 months out. And I believe we might do it in Seattle because they're offering us a free forum. And that's the most expensive part of raising money. I think that I will be asking for people. I know I got a donation from Michael Nichols, which is world class. So I'm going to reach out and start asking now because that's just part of the job I have as executive director, and shamelessly using this platform because I would never have an opportunity like this. Never. And so with that, I'm trying to think if there's other things I need to let you know. Just when the classes start, they'll be coming up more than likely in August. Bill Scalise, Duna Red, Joyce Alexander are the 3 people we'll be working with. And I paid to them the highest praises because they would do it if they got paid or not, but they're invaluable. So thank you, ladies, for always carrying us in this crazy life we have. Hawa Ditanase, thank you, and you guys race out and get something to eat. Okay, thank you. All done, honey. Thank you for letting me put you on this. Yeah, this was so good. Oh! I keep smiling at you like we're best friends.
All your words, just like how she said, you just lit my heart on fire. I really appreciate everything you said. I came in kind of late. I didn't catch your name.
Killjuice?
Okay.
I can write it from there.
Okay. You can put it on my side.
Okay.